I have never actually launched a boat using this railway right here into the water. So today, we're going to go ahead and try our best to make a really nice boat that we can launch into the water and have some fun. So let's go ahead and start building one and see what it's like to launch one. Okay, well, I don't know how to start this or whatever, but we're just going to go ahead and start building and we're going to hope for the best. So let's go ahead and build this down by a good few. We're then going to jump into this and we're going to build that down by 2 of those. So far, decent, I guess. What we're then going to do is one of these guys. We're then going to move on to one of these guys. Actually, probably more like 3 of those. One of these guys yet again, and then 2 of these. 1, 2. Excellent. From there, we're just going to go ahead and zoom it backwards, and that looks awesome. I don't know how far back this should really go, but let's just go ahead and build it backwards a little bit more. We're going to shove one of these guys on here. We're then going to go ahead and jump in with a few of these, and we're going to zoom that backwards a little bit after we do maybe like 3 of those. There we go. Zoom that backwards a little bit, and then we can build it up from there, and hopefully that'll look good. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with one of these guys. Yep, there we go. One of these guys. There we go, and a few of these. Okie dokie. And then from there, maybe just like one of those. There we go. I don't know. Is that a nice looking shape for a boat? Maybe. All right, well, I guess we're going to go ahead and start with the front end then. We're going to do this. There we go. We'll attach those guys onto there. I think if I just keep adding these, we can build it backwards a little bit. And I think that'll look nice. We're then going to go ahead and shove these guys on, obviously. There we go. I am only doing this on one side, but that's okay. I can just copy and paste them over to the other side if I need to, which, you know, eventually, I guess I will. I'm going to try something weird that I've seen quite a few people in Stormworks doing, and that is essentially adding a step. I know it looks a bit weird for now, but I don't know, if we keep it going, maybe it'll actually look quite good, but who knows? So we need one of these, I think. Wait, no, actually, it's one of these. Haha, there we go. Chuck that on there, bring it downwards a little bit. And then we need one of these guys on the bottom, I believe. Just like that, I think. I don't really know. But anyway, we're at the top. We're just going to go ahead and build that up. Probably with one of these, but I actually don't know. And then we can build all of this together like so. So we do all of those guys across there. This guy on top. There we go. And so far, so good. Where all the gaps are, we're obviously just going to go ahead and put blocks in. There we go. And I'm sure that's fine. Maybe. Okay, well, from there, we're going to go backwards by, like, 2 of these. There we go. Very nice. Which means we're going to go backwards by 2 of these. 1, 2, and these ones as well, obviously. And then we're going to have to do the underside of those as well. So if we just grab that from there, we can do this. If we grab this guy from the back, we can do that. We'll continue it. There we go. And we'll continue it again, just like so. All right. I mean, I think it's fine. Maybe. All right. It's time to extend it by quite a bit more. So let's go ahead and get one of these. We're actually going to go with about 4 of these guys. There we go. That makes it quite a long boat, but that's okay. However, before we do that, we're actually going to go ahead and move it downwards by 1, like so. I don't know if I like the idea of doing this, but this will be my first and possibly last boat where I do it, so we'll go with it for now. Anyway, we're going to have to extend it by using these guys, so let's go ahead and do this bit once. We're then going to need some of these, so we're going to chuck those on next. There's 1 and 2, I guess? Right, sure. And then we're going to go back to one of these guys and hope for the best. All right, there we go. So it is like producing a little bit of a step at the front, but I think we can deal with that. Okay, yeah, I guess that works, sort of. Don't know how I feel about it. I'm assuming that a lot of you guys will either love it or hate it, so let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and continue with these things, and I'm going to hope that it looks alright and that it works alright too. So if I chuck those on there, obviously there's probably going to be a step in there. We'll do this one and this one. And then, I don't know. I wish I knew what I was doing. All right, here we go. Shove that guy on there. Shove this guy in here. And then we'll do one more. And maybe one more after that. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I guess that works. I very, very rarely actually do boats. that are quite pointy on the bottom. Well, looking at it right now, I actually hate this. I really don't like it, but we're going to continue with it anyway. I'm also going to go ahead and copy it. I'm going to press U, and I'm going to put it on the other side too, and that is going to be quite the pointy boat. Yep. Alright. Very strange so far. Okay, so from there, what are we going to do? Well, I kind of want to continue with the bumpiness for some reason, so I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to continue with the bumpiness as we go backwards a little bit, and, well, I'm just going to continue it backwards. But I'm also going to be bringing it down as we do that, because I feel like that's what we need to do. So we're going to need one of these, I believe. Let's chuck that back there and do this. We're then going to need a few of these guys, which are going to go on there, all the way to the bottom. And that doesn't seem right. Like, it doesn't... The fact that it's poking out so much, it just seems wrong. Whereas this bit looks right. So whatever I'm doing here is okay, but whatever I'm doing here is bad. Ooh, I could merge it in like that. That kind of works. Alright, we'll go with it for now. If it needs changing, then obviously we will change it. And then this piece, I kind of would like this to fit in more, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. Oh, I think I've done it. I think I've sort of done it. Okay, bam. I don't know if I like this or whether I hate it. I really don't know. Okay, so if I get a pyramid like this guy... Oh, no, we can't add that to there. We can't add that to there. This piece can actually go on here, and that could go on there. But then we're gonna have to, like, block this bit up, and that feels weird. That seems so weird. And ugly. Oh, well, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and build this down. We're gonna go ahead and attach this to the bottom, all the way down to there. We're gonna go from here across to here. Very good. And I guess at the top, we're just gonna go ahead and zoom this down like so. Okay. Weird, but fine, kind of. Alright, zoom this bit backwards to there, for now. We're going to angle these so that it looks nice-ish, maybe. Alright, there we go, do this. And then we'll have one of these, and we'll have one of these. Okay. I mean, it looks alright. I don't even know what kind of boat I'm building. Maybe I should have figured that out first. But we'll continue and we'll figure it out soon. Just a quick interruption to tell you guys about a new game that one of my friends has made. This is Oh Boy. It's a quick survival game where you pick from a few different ships and weapons and use them to capture islands and destroy some enemies. Getting through the waves allows you to earn gold, which you can then use to buy upgrades for your ship. You can either upgrade the ship itself to be bigger or faster, or you can actually buy different weapon upgrades, my favourite being the turret deployer. The link to the game will be down in the description down below. I ended up deleting the bit at the back, because I wasn't sure what I actually wanted this bit to look like, but we might be able to figure out a stern, we might not be able to figure out a stern. I actually just don't really know. Yeah, I think an idea would be to actually use one of these. Yeah, maybe actually we'd go up one with that? Oh, I don't know. I wish I knew what I was doing. That would be great. Alright, let's do this. And then, I don't know, I guess we could just zoom it down with one of these. But that feels weird. That feels very weird. But also kind of fits. It does kind of fit. It looks weird doing it like this, with a flat bottom at the back, but it is what it is, and if we're gonna keep it, then we're just gonna keep it, and we're gonna not worry about it whatsoever. However, the boat itself is gonna be extended backwards a little bit. We're gonna do that right there and there, and I guess I'm just gonna sort of seal this off. Yeah, actually sort of just like this. I know it's a bit weird to do it that way, but if it works, then it works. We can then have a propeller poking out back here. We can have our rudders down here, and it all sort of fits, kind of. One thing that I am going to do, though, is add one of these guys to the back end, like so. Possibly actually two of those, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and shove one of these guys on here as well. Again, possibly a few more than one. And we're going to chuck that across there like that. Zoom all these guys together, bosh. And then we're going to flip all these to the top. There we go, 1 and 2. We're going to do a bunch of these guys. There we go, 1, 2, and 3. And this bit on the back. Boop. There we go. Alright. Pretty weird looking, but we have ourselves a hull. Well, there we go. I've gone ahead and added a bit of a deck up here. We're then going to go slightly lower than you'd expect for the lower deck, which is going to go down there. We're going to go ahead and fill all this in. There we go, and there we go. And finally, this piece, I think. Boop, there we go. And then we're going to fill in this little bit right here, just like this. And we have ourselves a sealed off hull. Kind of. It is kind of a sealed off hull. We're going to go ahead and shove that across there. I'm going to shove one of these guys in here, and I'm going to shove one of these guys right there like that. Okay, so far so good. The problem comes when it goes to floating, because if I tried to float this right now, it's obviously going to be too top heavy, and that's not very good. Also, this little piece right here is very annoying, so I'm going to sort that out real quick. Okay, well, I just continued it down a little bit more, and that is a lot more acceptable than it was. What I'm also going to do is actually move the front middle piece forwards a tiny bit, and that's going to poke out a little bit too. There we go, look at that. So I've poked it out a little bit, and I do think that gives it a lot more detail on the front that otherwise we would not have. I might also give it a bit of a bulbous thing on the front too, because I think that could look pretty good as well. The back of this ship definitely lets it down so far. We might end up fixing that, we might not. Don't know how I feel about whatever I've done there. That looks bizarre. That looks really weird. Anyway, that hole right there needs filling in. This hole right here needs filling in. And I'm going to go ahead and add a rudder to this and also some propellers to this. And we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so the holes, let's go ahead and fill that bit in right there, and this bit right here. Very good. We're then going to try and do whatever the propellers need to do, which I don't know. Pivots, I guess it would be kind of cool to have our pivot on power, or our power pivot thingamabobbies. So we could do this right here, and, oh, maybe a little bit further out. So actually more like this. There we go. Well, then allow it to go through there, which is a bit weird. We're going to go ahead and fill this bit in like this. Again, a bit strange. There we go. And we're going to have a pipe that allows it to get sent outwards, backwards, and we'll see what that does. Genuinely don't know how I feel about this, but it is what it is. So delete that guy right there. We're going to go ahead and shove a pipe directly on here. Is this right? I don't know. Kind of like this. And then obviously it's gonna get dropped out, which is sort of fine. Kind of. Never really done anything like this before, but it is what it is. So seal all that up. There we go. I'm just gonna seal that bit up too, and this bit, and I guess this bit. However, this piece needs to be on a pipe as well. So, yeah. So our engine power goes in there, which then sends it into this, which then allows it to come out. Alright, fine. Yeah. If I attach one of these guys onto here, that might not actually look so bad. And then we need a propeller, which goes on there. Is that going to work? I knew you were going to have problems. I knew you were going to have a bit of a problem. Apparently that bit is... There we go. That bit is blocking it. Fine. We're just going to have a hole there. We are legit just going to have a hole there. Sure. There we go. We got the hole sorted out, so it doesn't look so weird now, but sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a throttle on this, or actually just a number, and we'll allow it to angle itself downwards. This could be crazy and actually look really weird, but 0.2, 0.15, maybe? I don't know. There we go. Attach that to there and there, spawn it in. That's what it currently looks like, but if I do this, other way, we need it to be minus 0.5, please. There we go, let's see what that looks like. Oh, okay. Kind of weird, but not too bad. Okay, so from there, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to go ahead and shove a piece in here. And we're essentially just going to go ahead and put some rudders on there. But they're going to be control surfaces instead of rudders. Because I want them to be quite big. Although that is very big. That is huge! But it could work, so sure. Alright, let's go ahead and just shove one of these guys on here like this. There we go. And just build that up, and that's fine. I think I'll leave it like that. Alright, so when I spawn this in again... Yeah! Why not? Okay, so what are we going to do now? Well, I'm going to go ahead and paint around the underside. And essentially, I'm going to try and paint it all in, where the waterline is going to go and everything like that. Whether this actually works and looks nice, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Also, painting is kind of boring, so I'll skip this part for you guys. Okay, there she is. I feel like that looks alright. Maybe it could be a fishing trawler, maybe it could be something else. I wish I knew. I really wish I knew what this was. Alright, well, what I'm going to do right now is actually delete this guy right here across the front. We are going to be extending this, so grab that by there, send it all the way through to here. Hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully I haven't accidentally built something on the inside. No, I've totally built something on the inside. There we go. Get rid of all of those. And essentially, I want this to be some sort of weird bulbous bow. So that's going to go on there. It's going to be like a flat one, which is the weird part. So that's going to go there. We're just going to do this. We'll have it be 1. That's okay. And then we can have it come back. Maybe. Alright, that goes on there like that. And then I guess we could go with one of these. Sure. But not there, because I want one of these on first. And then I want one of these on after. Yep. And then I want it to come this way. And go into the boat somewhere around here, I guess. There we go. Alright, bulbous bow sort of thing added. That looks bizarre. Right, well, as of right now, I know for sure that this thing will not float properly if we put it in the water. So, we need to get ourselves a bunch of weights, and I need to shove it in the hole so that it doesn't sink. Which is absolutely bizarre. Obviously, putting extra weight in is a bit weird, but let's go ahead and chuck all this in here like this. The weight is now a lot lower, which is good. That is very good. I'm going to go ahead and paint most of this as well. There we go, because we don't want the interior looking like this. Not at all, thank you very much. There we go. And what I want to do is actually float it, because I don't want to put the engine in this place. I want to actually build the engine in another location. So what I mean by that is this thing needs towing over to the creative base, which is where we'll be installing the engine. It's not actually like a super long journey, but we will have to make sure this floats before we go. Alright guys, it's time to send it into the water, so let's go ahead and do this to about 50%. I'm gonna go ahead and head down there and we'll watch it get into the water all by itself. Here it comes, guys. We're going to go ahead and watch it go straight into the water, and hopefully it does actually float properly, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be super upset. Here we go. It's in the water. Please say it actually floats. If it doesn't, I'm going to cry. Okay, the bogies are going, and the boat itself is actually floating. It's a tiny bit front heavy, but that's okay, because there's no engines in it right now. There's also no fuel or anything like that, and no bridge or anything like that either. So, as soon as we add all of those things, this is gonna work out great. Okay, let's go get ourselves a tugboat. Well, we've resurrected a build that we used actually quite a lot recently. This right here is our tugboat slash supply ship, I guess, from our career mode series. And honestly, it's a decent vessel for towing, and that is why we're using it for, you guessed it, towing. So let's go ahead and attach up to this, and let's get over to the creative base. Okay, so attach the winch onto there. We're going to go ahead and attach it onto here. I am going to winch out a tiny bit. There we go, because I don't want it to be like right behind me. And then we can just start towing it forwards, I think. Alright, turn the reverse gear off. Let's go, go, go. It shouldn't really take this boat very much effort to move this thing. And off we go. I could even, if I wanted to, put it on the deck, but we're not going to do that today, because we don't need to. As far as towing goes, by the way, it's not the best, especially because of where we've got the tow points. Because it's so high on the ship, it actually makes it a lot worse, because it's trying to drag the nose down, and that's not very good. But other than that, the boat is actually doing fine at towing, and the towed boat the hull is doing okay too. Alright, well, we're coming into the docks, so I think I'll just drive straight in, and then the hull will obviously follow me in there as well, and we should be able to return both of them to the workbench, and then we can continue working with the hull. So, there she is, and that is how it floats at the minute, which is, honestly, not actually too bad whatsoever. What I want to do is obviously add an engine into this hull now, and then, after we've added the engine, we can go ahead and do whatever we're going to do on the deck, and obviously the bridge, the superstructure sort of thing, and go from there. Okay, so something I generally don't really do on my boats is any sort of interior, or I do very little interior, and I kind of want to do interior on this one. So what I'm going to try and do is sort out the sides. I'm going to go ahead and make them all very flat, and also rounded off, and then I guess, I don't know, we're just going to try and make it look nice. So, let me go ahead and sort out all the sides. I'll make them all very smooth to begin with. And then once they're all very smooth, we can go ahead and work on the next bit. There we go. So everything's sort of smooth. I don't know how else to explain it. Just, it's all smooth. What I'll do is I'll shove this guy up there like that, and we are good. Alright, so down here, we're going to go ahead and paint the things in. I think we're going to have like a green engine room, so most of this is going to be green. Alright, it's all very green, as you can see. The walls are green, the bottom is grey, and the roof is like a grey green. So, the roof is a different colour to the floor, which is a different colour to the walls. Yeah, alright, cool. That looks pretty good to me. What I want to do then is actually add a few lights down here, and then I want to come inside and have a little look at it before we do anything else. Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like I actually really like this. What I'm going to do next, really quickly, is actually add a few little ridges in here to make it look a little bit more like it's sort of being supported, sort of like ribs. So I'm going to do like a few just in this little section right here, maybe a few little bits right there, but the backs and the front can stay as is. Okay, so let's do it. Let's delete this guy, this guy, this guy. There we go. We're going to grab this color, and we're just going to go ahead and essentially add some extra bits into each of these pieces. There we go. And on there, I guess I'll just do this. All right, so that goes on there. Actually, probably like that. There we go. We'll then add these guys all onto here like this. And I think I'll leave it like that. Yeah. I'm then going to do it further down the back of the boat. But it'll all essentially look like this. And there we go, a few little ridges in the sides. I don't know whether there's too many on there, to be honest, but it'll do. I'm sure that's fine. Alright, so, engine time then. I think I want two little engines in here. And when I say little engines, I mean 3x3 engines. We're going to go with two of them, and we're going to shove them pretty much right here. So, let's go ahead and shove it right there like that. There's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, obviously. So let's try and position that correctly. 1, 2, and 3. And then we can actually mirror it from there. Alright, yeah, that sort of fits, kind of. Alright, so from there, what do we need? Well, we need to go ahead and get some cylinders. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. We are going to need a clutch on the back end. So that goes there. We're going to need the thingamabobby on the front. I kind of want to make it a 4-cylinder engine. 3 cylinders sort of makes sense to me, but 4 is what we're going to go with. There we go. 2 4-cylinder engines. Why not? From there, we're going to go ahead and get the thing that goes on the front, the belt drives. We're going to shove that right there. On there, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a starter, which I believe is not this. It is this right here. So 1 starter, 2 starter. I'm actually going to go into the floor, and we're going to put some starters there as well. So let's do that. There we go. Shove that on there, and then we can put the floor back. Okay, 4 starters. Good. Okay, I suppose from there we're going to need a bit of a fuel tank, so we're going to use these ribs to our advantage, because it gives us enough space to actually have a fuel tank added. Let's go ahead and delete these guys right here and just do this. Although the walls are a different color to the bottom. They are. So we're going to do it in the same color as the walls. There we go. Delete that, that, and that. We'll actually build that from there across. We'll go ahead and delete these guys down here, and we'll do the same thing. And this essentially is going to be our fuel tank. Alright, there we go. Big old fuel tank right in the center. Let's go ahead and delete this side really quickly so that we can add some fluid ports. Or not fluid ports, we need a meter so we can see how much fuel is in here. And we need a spawner so we can actually have fuel in here. There we go. So if I spawn this in now, I have deleted the weight that was in here. Let's see what it looks like. It might not be very balanced. Oh. Never mind. Apparently it's really balanced. I think I want to add, like a little platform thing right here. Kind of, just like this. And then I wouldn't mind it actually coming down with some stairs, into the middle. Maybe. So if I did, let's say this. One of those, and then maybe one of these. There we go. We can then have this bit be sort of flat on the bottom, all the way to the back end. Deleting those, shove that in there. That's fine. Yeah, I don't see why not. It can work like that, so it will. Alright, current situation then. I've gone ahead and obviously added the fuel tank down in here. Wait, actually, that is the fuel tank. Why have I done that? No! Close it! Close it! I've added a hatch to the fuel tank. That is not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. That hatch is going to get moved forwards because there is actually some space under here. That you might be able to see? Alright, so fuel tank is there, and then the empty space is here, so I've added a hatch there so that we can get into this empty space, if we need to. What I'm also going to do is a little bit of weight saving. I'm going to delete all of these bits down here, because likely we are not really going to be going down here very much, so I'm going to get rid of most of those. I might actually get rid of most of the ones on the top layer. You know what, let's just get rid of all of them. There we go. All of these extra bits are going to get deleted. And we don't need them. Yeah, so delete them all out of here, please. There we go. All the way to the front. Except that one, apparently. Cool. Alright, well, we didn't actually finish building the engine. So, or the engines, I should say. So, we're going to go ahead and put a pipe in here, which is going to direct it into the center. Obviously, we need to go backwards to there, so let's go ahead and add a gearbox into here, 1 and 2. The rear one is just going to be for reverse, and the first one is just going to be 3 to 1. There we go. That's what we're going to go with. I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright, pipe from there. Let's go ahead and bring it forwards. 1, 2. We'll put one there, and we'll just attach these guys together, and that'll be it. There you go. Engine somewhat sorted. We now need to add air, the exhaust, and also the fuel, and the coolant, actually, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, here we go. So, lower this down. Oh, no, actually, sorry. That is the exhaust. The exhaust probably wants to go upwards, if I'm honest. There we go. Exhaust is going to go up. Fuel is going to go down, because the fuel is just there. And then the air supply is going to go up as well, wherever that is. There it is. Air supply, that could go upwards. And the manifold, the cooling manifold, can go here. Okay, so, essentially, what I'm going to do for right now, just as a test, is I'm going to shove the exhaust up to there. We'll delete this guy, wherever it is, and we'll just shove a fluid port on there. We're going to go ahead and send this guy up as well, and we'll shove a fluid port on there. The exhaust is... Oh, sorry, the fuel is going to go into here. That's fine. And then we should be able to test this thing out. Then we can do the coolant, and then we need to do all of the superstructure. Okay, I've shoved everything together so that we can actually test this thing out. So, realistically, the engines should work. However, there is currently no coolant to them. Also, the RPS, I don't know what I've limited it to, so it might go crazy and explode. But who knows? It's always good to test these things. Alright, close this up. Let's go ahead and start our engines. If it revs up like crazy, then it's too high. It has revved up like crazy, which means it's too high. But here we go. Let's start sailing. Oh my goodness. Well, that's weird. What a weird experience this is. So, it's more than powerful enough to obviously push this thing around. However, because I've angled the propellers, it is just pushing the nose into the water. That's kind of annoying. Fixed it, guys. I have fixed it. Yes! So, what I ended up doing is actually adding a gyro so that it actually keeps us level in the water. I've also moved these guys upwards a little bit, so instead of being 0.15, it's at 0.1, which is less of an angle. And honestly, this is motoring along quite nicely. Yeah. It does dive a little bit to the sides when you go to turn, but it does sort itself out, and that's all good. Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, I guess it's time then to actually add a bit of a superstructure onto this thing. First though, I think I'm gonna delete these guys right here. I don't think I want them in there, so we're gonna go ahead and shove that there, shove this here, delete these guys, shove that across there, and I guess paint all that back together. There we go. Alright, very good. I'm then gonna actually move this guy backwards a whole bit. There we go. I'll chuck that forwards. We'll go ahead and chuck one of these guys right here. And do this, and I think that looks okay. Kind of. Okay, kind of. Maybe I can do this. There we go. And then maybe we can do this again. Alright, so it's a bit bumpy as it goes backwards, but that's okay. Alright, well, what am I going to do now? Well, we need to add a superstructure onto this thing, so we need to add walls, doors, and everything else, I guess. So what I'm going to do is actually bring this backwards to around here. We're then going to go inwards a little bit, so I'm going to use maybe 2 of these. There we go. Like that. And then this is going to be where the wall is. So let's delete this, and we'll actually add pipes going upwards. Here we go. So straight pipe, boop, and boop. Okay, very good. We'll attach all that together. I am going to go and delete all of this, and I'm going to shove that onto there like so. Alright, very good. We're then going to extend this backwards by 2. And we're going to do another one of these, and I'm just going to attach that together back there. Okay, so far so good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to move it to the front. We're going to paste it right there. That isn't where it's going to actually end up, because we're going to put it in the bridge, which is going to go above, but obviously we need to build to that point. I am going to delete a little bit of this. There we go. That's for the lights. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that for now. We're going to send this forwards to about here. And essentially, I just need to make sure the walls continue on the underside. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this bit too, and shove this in here, like so. And then obviously I'm going to paint it all so that it's all the same, please. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Yeah, that works. Okay, so on the inside, in the floor, I'm just going to go ahead and paint all of these this color. There we go. Slowly but surely, we'll get them all to be white. There we go. Come on! Come on! Oh, it takes ages, doesn't it? I have put so many random dots everywhere. Alright, that'll do. There we go. So as soon as all these are actually white, we'll actually change them to a different colour. Probably that grey that we've got downstairs, actually. So let's go ahead and grab this. We'll jug it. There we go. I'll paint that like so. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint the walls like this. Alright, very good so far. I think it needs to be a little bit skinnier, but like shorter, but we'll leave it as is for now. Alright, door is going in. There we go. We have an actual door. We're then going to go forwards from there by about 2, and then I'm going to add a ladder. Yes. So 1, 2, oh, actually, it needs to be higher. So delete that one. 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one is actually going to go up here. There we go, 4. Alright, very good. So let's fill all of those in. We're then going to go sideways from there by about 2. I'm going to bring this up by 2 as well. We're going to add a porthole. That is going to be an actual window. And we're going to go forwards from there by 2 again. Add another one. We're going to build this up. There we go. By 2 again? Yeah, sure, why not? We'll add another window. And then that'll be the end of the windows. Okay, very interesting so far. I do think if I actually add one of these guys next, we should be able to build this in like this. There we go. Shove that across there. We have ourselves a nice-ish looking start zone to a boat. I think? Yeah? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, by the way, because I'm very interested to see what you guys think of these things. Anyway, that goes on there. I might actually leave a little bit of an overhang out the front, just like this. And then we need to build the actual roof. There we go. So far, so good. Alright, well, back here then. We are actually going to go ahead and box this off, just like so. It's not really going to be attached very well. I will delete these guys, though, because I do think we should be able to get into this room a little bit. I think that's probably a good idea. So we'll attach those guys onto there. I'm going to do this. We're then going to do this guy right here, these guys right here, all the way around, including this bit. There we go. And we're just going to do that up there. Okay. So far, so good. Attach those guys onto here. And actually, the funnel is going to go back here somewhere. Alright, well, I don't know how I'm going to do the funnel, actually, but let's go ahead and get some pipes, and we'll just angle them upwards, and see how that goes. So, 1, 2, I'll do it 2 at a time, sort of. Oh, actually, it's just going to have to be 1 at a time, sort of, but that's fine. Go ahead and build that up like so. There we go. 1 of these, please. There we go. And 1 more, I guess. Okay, so that goes there, and upwards. And we'll do the same right here. So 1 of these, then 1 of these, and then 1 of these, and that's it. Okay, so, now that that's on there, let's go ahead and attach this guy. We're going to attach this guy and this guy. We're going to have to do, this and this. Okay, very good. Let's just build in the middle. That's all fine. And I guess we'll actually leave 1 of those there. And 1 of them here as well. I mean, they're in 2 different places. Which is kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's going to be fine. So, build that one up by 1, that one up by 1. Go to fluid pots, chuck those guys on. Wherever they are, there we go, 1 and 2. Fill that in the center. That's alright. We're then going to go ahead and make these actually sort of 3D rather than 2D. And we'll go from there. There we go. Alright, 3D now. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get ourselves the coolant now, because a lot of people... This is weird. I mean, it's kind of funny, because the experience I have. But sometimes I build boats where they are water-cooled from the ocean. And then people tell me, why are you water-cooling from the ocean? That's bad. And then I build a boat with radiators, and then people are like, why are you building a boat with radiators? You got a whole ocean there. So, that's just a thing that happens to me all the time. So if I build a boat that's cooled by the water, then people complain that I haven't put radiators on. And if I do it the other way around, there's complaints the other way. But you know what? We're just going to go ahead and put radiators on this for now, because I can. Okay, so, the way that I'm going to do this then is kind of weird, because I'm going to move these guys to the sides. Yeah, not really what I was expecting to do just right now, but it's what we are gonna do because of how this works. If I delete that one and this one, I need to put a straight pipe on there. This is kind of annoying because it is gonna mess with things, but let's put that right there. We'll go ahead and put an angled piece on here so it goes down, and actually on the front of there I'll just do this. Alright, so it doesn't look so weird anymore. But essentially I'm building it around so that the coolant can be put in here. Okay, no pipes there anymore, so if I go to radiator, I think I can fit 1 of these. Oh, I can't actually, can I? It's not quite big enough. Oh, that's really annoying. That is actually super duper annoying. I can fit it there if I did that, but that's not what I wanted. Alright, well, I've somewhat fit it in then. It's gonna go right there like that. That's okay with me. I'm just gonna go ahead and shove 1 of these guys right there. In here, I'm actually going to add a fire extinguisher. Yes, because it totally works if it goes right there next to where the fire's going to be, because the engine's going to be on fire. And that's good. Alright, cool. What I'm also going to do is connect this to here. We're going to connect this guy to here. And that means whenever the engine is on, the coolant is working. And there we go. I've connected the coolant manifold up to here, and that should be all good. Hopefully that works. I don't know whether 1 5x5 radiator is enough for a 4-cylinder 3x3 engine. Likely not, but we'll see. Okay, so this is where we are currently at. I think that looks pretty good. Still don't really know what the boat is for just yet. We will maybe figure that out eventually, but who knows? Maybe we'll never figure it out. I want some stairs going from up here down to this deck. I think I want like a deck on the outside right here, and then obviously a bridge right there on the front. And then maybe we could put a winch on the back or something, and that would work. Oh, we can have like a fire boat, so I could put like a fire hose on the front, and maybe a fire hose on the back, and it could be some sort of like fire putter-outer boat. That could work. Right, there we go. So we're starting with this bit now because I want to. So what I think I'm going to do is... I don't know how wide to make this or how long to make this. I was thinking this side of this window might make sense, but I don't really know. Let's go ahead and shove that guy on there. I am going to add a little bit of extra detail by doing this. Which may be a bit strange, and honestly, it kind of is. There we go, so we're going to shove those guys onto there, and we're going to have like a little bit of a rib around the outside. It definitely adds a little bit of extra detail that otherwise you wouldn't have had, so that's kind of nice. We're then going to go to exhaust parts, which is even weirder, and we're going to chuck that on there like that, all the way to the back end like this, and we're going to add some rocket boosters in the center. Is it weird? Yes. Yes, it is. But I'm going to do it anyway, because extra detail is always appreciated. I'm actually going to do the exact same thing on the front, and maybe that'll be cool? I just don't know. Sometimes it's really good to just experiment with random things that maybe is a bit strange, but could add a little bit of random detail to whatever you're creating. Okay, so, well, we need to go ahead and add more detail to this because we actually need a bridge. So, if I go to Windows, I think we might be able to get away with this, but at the same time, we might not. So, let's just see how it goes. We're going to angle this window outwards. We're going to go ahead and chuck, essentially, this window back on there like this. And on the outside, we're going to add one of these windows right here like this. Alright, so far so good, I guess. Then if we go ahead and add these guys onto there, possibly like this, there we go. And then we can shove a 1x3 window in the center, and that will look great too. Alright, there we go. I have done it all in the wrong color, unfortunately. I like to do all of the windows in black. There we go. And generally I think that looks better than grey. And then if we spawn that in, what does it look like? Ooh, yeah, okay. She's coming together. Considering I didn't know what I was building for, this is starting to look good. Alright, extra windows. I guess they're all going to go in here, so let's just do it. Here we go. One there, one there. We obviously need the 1x3 windows on the bottom. 1 and 2. And then back here, I think we're going to go to flatness. There we go. And I'm going to add one of those rings on here. Yeah, I think that'll be kind of cool. So let's just go ahead and do this. There we go. Do this and this and this. And then on the edges, we're going to get a slightly cream version, but more white, I suppose. There we go. And we're going to shove that there, 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 and there. Alright, so far so good. I might actually move this downwards, though, because at the minute it's a bit high. There we go. Cut it. Move it downwards. Paste it in. Very good. Do the same thing over here. Cut it. Move it downwards. Paste it. Merge that onto there, do the same thing right here, and that's all good. Okay, so around the tops of this then, we're just going to go ahead and attach these guys on. Not necessarily the thing that I wanted to do, but it's what we've got, so that's what we're going to go with. Also, this is white, whereas the rest of the build is actually in some sort of like grey cream, which I think is okay. Having a white roof is fine. Let's go ahead and build that in there like that. We'll actually leave that guy right there. And then, weirdly, I do think it'd be kind of cool to have this be, kind of like extended up quite a bit, if that makes sense. So, kind of like this. I actually don't mind that, but I also think it looks a bit weird. Alright, you know what? I've deleted all those things. I've deleted all of them because I'm going to replace them with these pieces. So we're going to go with one of those. We're going to go with, actually... if I use one of these, we might be okay. Ah, there we go. We're going to go ahead and attach a 1x2 into here. Then we're going to go ahead and obviously shove all of the extra pieces on here that we need. Alright, there we go. And where is it? There we go. Excellent. We're then going to shove that on there. We're going to do this across the top. We'll do this across here. And zoom it backwards from there. Okay. So far, so good. Don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it looks kind of ugly. I really struggle with adding like the roofs to these things. I do think that this is something that I need to get better at, but what if I add that to there? It just looks strange to me. It always looks really weird. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, I actually don't know how to fix it. Let me go ahead and do this, and this. And then on the interior of each of these, I am actually going to go ahead and paint it in grey. This is something that I always do pretty much on all of my builds. On the insides of pretty much every window, I do it in grey. Yeah. So generally that looks pretty good, but I don't know, maybe some situations it wouldn't. But who knows? There we go. I don't know. I feel like it looks ugly. Kind of. Maybe it's because it's not actually as chunky as maybe it could be, and maybe because it's not as chunky, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe now that I've broke it up a little bit, it's fine. I genuinely, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. What I need to do now is add some railings across the back end, possibly some stairs going from here down to there, and then I want to add some sort of mast. It needs a mast. Alright, let's do it. So, this guy's going to go in here like this. We're going to add an end piece onto here, like so. Very good. We're going to add, actually, weirdly, an end piece and an end piece right there. We're going to do the same. Well, not the same, but we're going to add an end piece right here. Segments, boop, there we go. And boop, there we go. And that is all good. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. So we got the railings in. Let's go ahead and add probably a ladder here. I was going to do stairs, but a ladder just makes more sense. So grab the colors that we need, shove the ladders in, 1 and 2, paint this the way that we need it to be painted, and now people can go from up here down to there if we need to. There we go. Alright, cool. So, mast. I don't know where the mast should go. Either on top of here, as well as down here, or just down here. But then being able to actually move around with the mast right here might be kind of difficult. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to sort it out. And it's also going to be yellow. Yeah, that's right. I've decided it's going to be yellow. So, if we are going to build it down here as well as above us, how about we actually put it on like a stand? There we go. So, what I'll do is delete that maybe. There we go. We'll have it like this. Actually, well, hold on. One more. Have that go upwards by 1. If I put that guy right there, we can attach this guy onto here, and then we can start sort of building the mast off of this. In yellow. Yeah, I want it in yellow. I think that'd be cool. So, let's just do it, I guess. I like the idea of building it out of, like, pipes and stuff. But sometimes that's tricky. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, let's just go. Let's just do this up there. There we go. That seems a bit too chunky though, doesn't it? Oh, I find it really hard to make like masts look nice. Okay, so what if this bit is kind of chunky, and we leave it as the chunky bit? There we go. And then from there, we can either go into a 1x1, just like this, which actually does sort of work. And then we'll go from there. So actually, oh, maybe a 2x2. There we go. And then we can add one on the back like this. Okay, that sort of works too. And then maybe from up here, we can go into the pipes. So we'll actually attach that onto there like that. We'll actually do this bit on the front as well. And then we could go with a pipe from there. But also, this piece, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And this. There we go. So it looks like it's somewhat supported. I'll chuck that guy onto there. Alright. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I knew what I was doing. We'll go ahead and angle these guys out to the sides. We'll do one out to the side up here. And then I guess we'll go with some rocket boosters on the very top. We'll go with 1, 2, 3 of those. Then into some pipes, which are going to be in yellow, I guess, again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. We'll go with another pipe that attaches it onto here. There we go. And we'll attach all that together, just like this. Alright, awesome. And then, this at the top, I guess. Oh, we'll just leave it like that. Alright, what does that look like? Is that too crazy? I don't think that looks... It does look pretty weird. It does look pretty weird. I think what I need to do is just make it look a little bit more like it fits in. So delete this guy, chuck that onto there. That looks a lot better. We're going to go ahead and actually shove this onto here. And then maybe that onto there. And that sort of fits better too, I think. It would be kind of nice to have some crossovers in here. And what I mean by crossovers is like just some cross beams. Because sometimes crossbeams look pretty cool, to be honest. But in this game, obviously, it can be very chunky. And that is sort of where some problems come from. But there we go. Alright, cool. Chuck that into there, chuck it onto there. Very good. Okay. We'll leave it for now. We'll keep it as is. Okay, well, you know, it's built in, that's good. I've added some spotlights up there, one on the front, one on the back. We added nav lights up here as well. So we've actually got a nav light there, one on the other side, and obviously one up there as well. So let's go ahead and jump on, and let's see what it sails like now that we've added a bunch of extra random stuff. Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Oh, yeah. Alright. I still don't know what this boat reminds me of. I don't know what it should be. I have no idea what it should be. But I think it's kind of cool. Oh, yeah, I thought this might be a problem. So, it lists quite heavily when you try and turn. That is an issue. I think what I'll do, actually, is add a little bit of weight in the middle at the bottom. Keels are actually kind of interesting and would be very good here. However... there is a big however. Actually trying to fit a keel into a boat that's already been built is a bit annoying, actually. Not even going to lie to you guys. It's very annoying. So what I want to do is add it inside. Yeah, I do. I want to add it inside. So, gonna delete most of that. Let's go ahead and grab this. We'll chuck it on there like this. Other way around, though. It's only a small one, but that should be fine. We can fill that in right there. We can fill this in. And then, essentially, I just need to build around the edges and make sure that it's sealed off. And that should be okay. We can then obviously paint all of these pieces in red. There we go. And, honestly, that's fine. There we go. I'm going to paint as much of this as I can sort of see, but if I'm honest, you can't really see very much of this from outside anyway. So, realistically, it doesn't matter whether we paint this or not, but there we go. Alright, so, now that we've got a little tiny keel in there, let's see if that actually helps with the turning. Or not, because it might not. It might not actually do anything. But here we go. So we're going to sail forwards. Alright, let's try and turn to the left. Oh yeah, no, it helps a lot. That's crazy, it helps loads. Alright, well, I'm happy with that, I guess. I really should have put some dials in here so that I could see, so that I could actually see what's going on with my boat. But let's go downstairs. I can actually go all the way down, like so, and we can see. So the manifold is at 40 degrees. On this side, it's at 40 degrees as well. So the cooling, so far, is actually working. Unfortunately, the lights down here are not working because I accidentally, well, on purpose, deleted the thing that turned the lights on. I think we need to actually add cabins down here or something, don't we? I think that'd be pretty cool. It does look quite nice though, so I'm happy with that. Let's go upstairs. Yes, there we go. And yeah, upstairs is actually fine too. Again, we can add like a cabin or something in here, or like a galley or something like that. And then obviously if we go upstairs again, we've got the bridge. I don't know, it's a cool boat. It's quite cool. Alright, so how does it deal with 100% wind? Well, the answer is actually seemingly completely fine so far. It does bump out of the water a little bit and fly. Obviously flying is not something a boat should really do. So that's weird. But it's not like dying, so I guess that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and lower our speed down quite a bit. There we go. I'm actually going to go ahead and lower the throttles down too. About 50%. And, yeah, as long as you're not, like, trying to fly, I guess you can somewhat survive. Although it does want to tip over quite a bit. Weird. I don't know, boats in this game are a little bit strange, aren't they? Because as soon as there's, like, wind, things just want to take off. Unless they weigh loads, but if they weigh loads, they go underneath the water. So what do you do in that situation? Alright, well, we've tested it against 100% wind, and honestly, it does survive as long as you don't power through the waves. Well, sort of, anyway. If you throttle down a little bit, it does just cut through, which is good, and it's actually very balanced as it does so. Currently, this boat still has no purpose. I do think a fireboat does make sense. We can obviously add hoses at the back and maybe a cannon on the front or something. But I don't know. I don't know what it should be. I do think a tsunami might be a little bit much for it, but I think it will actually right itself once we go over the tsunami. So this is going to be very interesting if it works. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Come up. Let's get into it. All right. So going up the tsunami, we are actually going quite high before we go underneath. And now we've gone through it. We are flying. I mean, that's crazy. The fact that this thing actually sits in the air very flat like that is insane. And then we can just sail on again. Beautiful. Survive tsunamis. Alright, well, I think that is actually where I'm going to end this video today. If you guys have any ideas on what I should turn this thing into, let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what you guys think of it. It's the first boat that I've ever done this, like, step design on. I do think the step design is kind of cool. Also, the back of the boat, or the stern, doesn't look as bad as some of my other boats, which is pretty cool. We also tried out the angled propellers, and honestly, I quite like that too. The mast looks a little bit strange, but overall that's fine. The interior, there isn't really an interior, although downstairs there sort of is. I actually don't mind the engine room. I think that looks pretty cool. But for now, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys very much for watching, whatever the heck this was, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.